You are tuning into DNA Nightmares. Some secrets should stay buried, but today they are coming out. Before we reveal the results, please hit the like button and subscribe for good karma. You won't believe this twist. I never should have taken that DNA test. The glossy package from Ancestry Reveal sat on my kitchen counter for weeks before I finally decided to spit into that little plastic tube. It was supposed to be fun, a Christmas gift from my sister Sarah, who was obsessed with genealogy. "You'll love discovering your roots," she said. If only I had thrown it away. The process was simple enough. Spit, seal, send. 6 weeks of waiting, during which I nearly forgot about it. Then the email arrived while I was having my morning coffee. "Your DNA results are ready." I clicked through, expecting to see the usual mix of European ancestry that ran in our family. Instead, I froze, staring at the screen in disbelief. According to the results, Sarah and I shared only 25% of our DNA, making us half-siblings, not full siblings as we had always believed. My hands shaking, I called my mother. The tremor in her voice when she answered told me everything before she even spoke. "I never wanted you to find out this way," she whispered. The story came tumbling out. An affair, a mistake, a secret kept for 35 years. My father, the man who raised me, who taught me to ride a bike and checked under my bed for monsters, wasn't my biological father at all. But that wasn't the worst part. The DNA service had a feature that matched you with relatives who had also taken the test. There, at the top of my matches, was a name I didn't recognize. James Morrison, predicted father, 99.9% match. I clicked his profile with numb fingers. The photo showed a man in his 60s with my eyes and my chin, but it was the location that made my blood run cold. He lived just 3 streets away from us, had lived there my entire life. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about all the times I'd walked past his house, never knowing, about how he must have watched me grow up from a distance, knowing exactly who I was, about how my entire life had been built on a foundation of lies. I made the mistake of looking him up online. The first few results were normal enough, a LinkedIn profile, some business listings, but then I found the newspaper archives. James Morrison had been arrested in 1989 for stalking and assault. The charges were eventually dropped, but the details made me sick to my stomach. That's when the letters started arriving. Plain white envelopes with no return address, each containing a single photograph. Me as a child. Me in high school graduation. Me at college graduation. All taken from a distance, all spanning the years of my life. He had been watching, always watching. When DNA results destroy lives, a horror story, part 2. I started seeing his car everywhere. A dark blue sedan, always parked just far enough away to maintain plausible deniability. Sometimes I'd catch glimpses of him in my rearview mirror during my commute to work. He wasn't even trying to hide anymore. The police were useless. "We can't do anything unless he makes a direct threat," they said. The photographs kept coming, now featuring more recent dates. Me walking my dog yesterday. Me getting coffee this morning. Each image was accompanied by a handwritten note. "I've waited so long to know you." My mother stopped answering my calls. The guilt was too much for her, I suppose. My father, the man who raised me, moved out after learning the truth. Sarah tried to help, but how could she understand? Her whole identity hadn't been shattered into pieces. Then came the day I found my apartment door unlocked. Nothing was missing, but things were slightly off. A coffee mug moved to the wrong shelf. My photo albums rearranged. The air felt different, tainted by an invisible presence. He had been there, touching my things, breathing my air. I installed security cameras that night. The footage showed nothing for the first few days. But on the fourth night, at 3:17 a.m., a figure stood motionless in my backyard, just staring up at my bedroom window. The next morning, I found a note taped to my door. "You look so peaceful when you sleep." I started staying at Sarah's house, but the letters followed me there. They became more erratic, more possessive. "You're just like your mother. She tried to keep me from you too, but blood calls to blood." The final straw came when I received a package at work. Inside was my baby blanket, the one my mother had stored in her attic for decades. With it was a Polaroid from the day I was born, one I'd never seen before. He had been there, in the hospital, watching from a distance even then. That night, I did something reckless. I drove to his house. I needed answers, needed to confront the nightmare that had consumed my life. The lights were on, and I could see his silhouette through the curtains. I knocked on his door, my heart thundering in my chest. Footsteps approached. The door opened. But it wasn't James Morrison who stood there. It was an elderly woman I'd never seen before. "Oh," she said, "you must be here about James." "I'm so sorry, dear. He passed away 6 months ago. Cancer took him quite suddenly." I felt the world tilt beneath my feet. "That's impossible," I whispered. "He's been sending me letters, following me. I have photos." The woman's face paled. "Letters? Oh, God, it's happening again." She grabbed my arm, pulling me inside. "You need to know the truth. James had a twin brother. We thought he was still locked up, but if you're getting letters—" The realization hit me like ice water. The man stalking me wasn't my biological father at all. He was my uncle, and he was still out there. To be continued.